Hello everyone, welcome to today's session on data pre-processing in machine learning using Python. I'm Abhishek Katsrao, Assistant Professor in Department of Information Science and Engineering at NMM Institute of Technology, NITI. So in this session, I'll be showing you all about the basic steps we will be using for making a machine learning model. The very first step in a machine learning, as we all know, is data pre-processing. Data pre-processing is a process of preparing the raw data which we have collected and borrowed from multiple databases or repositories to a meaningful information and making it best suited for a machine learning model. So a real world data set usually contains several impurities like noisy data, missing values, unsuitable formats and many more, which we cannot directly use it for a machine learning models, right? So thus data pre-processing plays a major role in cleansing this data and thereby increasing the accuracy and efficiency of a machine learning model. So in this session, we will cover the most important aspects of data pre-processing like importing the libraries, importing the data set, taking care of missing data, encoding categorical data in terms of independent variables and dependent variables, splitting the data set into the training set and testing set, and also the feature scaling techniques. So let us begin with the importing the libraries. I'm going to import three libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas. As we all know, NumPy will allow us to work with arrays, Matplotlib which will allow us to plot some charts and also for data visualization purpose, Pandas which will allow us not only to import the data set but also to create the matrix of features and the dependent variable vectors, right? So now let's import the libraries. In order to import the libraries in Python, we start with import. This is the function. So let us start importing. Import. The very first library we are going to import is NumPy. NumPy as NP. NP is a nomenclature name for a NumPy. Usually we give it as NP. And similarly for the Matplotlib, import matplotlib dot pyplot plt. And the third library we are going to import is Pandas. Import Pandas as pd, right? So as you can see, we had imported all the three libraries, and before you proceed further, ensure that the working directory where you have your data set, and as you can see, I have a working directory called data pre-processing, and I have my data set as data.csv file. Okay, and I'm also saving my program in the same directory, right? So this is the data set what I'm going to use. So I've taken a very small data set. Okay, as you can see, there are four attributes: the country, age, salary, and purchased. Okay, and there are very few instances. You can see there are only 10 instances here, starting from the second row to the 11th row. So there are 10 instances, and there are four attributes here. You can see there are some categorical variables like in the country, you can see France, Spain, and Germany. There are three categories here, and these are continuous variables, age and salary. And also we have a categorical variable for purchased attribute here. There are only two values, either no or yes. Okay, and also you can clearly observe that there are some missing data here. So it will become a important data set for us to learn how to impute these missing data and how to analyze this data using data pre-processing techniques. So let us begin. Now we'll execute these three lines. Yes, it has successfully imported. Now let us import the data set from the working directory, that is data pre-processing. We are going to learn how to import the CSV file in Python using the Pandas library. So how we do that? We just use a Pandas library pd dot read underscore CSV. So inside that we have to label it. Okay, name the CSV file, that is data.csv file, and store it in a variable, that is data set. data set. Yes. So we are now ready, and let us execute this. Yes, we have successfully imported the data set to our editor, and you can see in the variable explorer, you can see the data set. When you double click on that, you can see the data frames here. So what is the data frame here? You can see there is an index value. There is a new column being added, that is the index value, and each and every attributes will be determined using index value. This is index 0 to n minus 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. This is how it goes. Okay, so it clearly says that we have 10, right, from 0 to 9. There are 10 instances and there are 4 attributes in a data frame, right? Okay, so we are successfully imported. Now what is the next step? The next thing that we have to do is to create 2 new entities. Now as you can see guys, here in the data set there are some independent variables and there are dependent variables. So finally we have to predict something, right? We should have one dependent variable and some independent variable which will be the reason to predict the outcome. So as you can see, the country, age and salary will be the independent variables. These are all the matrix of features, and the purchased, the last column, you can see, no, this is the dependent variable in this data set. So what we need to do is we have to create 2 new entities. The first is the matrix of feature, that is country, age and salary. The last one is the dependent variable vector. So let me describe you this data set and explain you the concept here. So this is the data set and we have here the independent variable. These are the matrix of feature and these are the dependent variable data set. I hope you understand by this, right? Now very simply, the features are called as independent variables and the last column we call it as a dependent variable. Okay. Now let's create these 2 entities, one for independent, another for the dependent. So for that I require 2 new variables, x and y. Okay. In these 2 variables I am going to create the locate indexes of the independent as well as the dependent variable. So how do I do that? Data set. So I need to locate the indexes. Now what is the indexes of the independent variable here? So I want to select all the rows, right? All the rows, and I want to select only the columns except the last column. So this is in which column now? As you can see, all the rows except the last column. That means I need to write it in this way: dataset dot ilocate, that is locate indexes. Okay, I need to select all the rows, that is colon, comma, all the columns except the last column, that is colon minus 1, and the values of them, right? Similarly, for a dependent variable, I need to write it as dataset dot ilocate, dataset dot ilocate, right? Now here I need to select all the rows but only the last column. So as I told you, the minus 1 represents the last column here, so I will write only minus 1 and dot values, all the values of the dependent variable. So we are done with creating the 2 entities now, right? Now let us execute this and we'll see those 2 variables and we'll verify our answers. Okay, so let me execute this. Yes, it has executed successfully and we can see in the variable explorer that 2 variables being created successfully, x and y. Now with respect to the data frame, we'll see what is stored in x and y. You can see the x here and also the y over here. Now as you can see, there are 10 instances here and we have only 3 variables, and 3 attributes in the x and only 1 attribute in the y. That means we are able to split the independent variables and dependent variables successfully using ilocate, right? So you can see the France, this is a country, age and salary, and this is the purchased column. So we got x and y separate. So these are called as an independent variable matrix of features and this is a dependent variable vector, right? So this is what we need to predict and these are the reasons to predict the outcome. Okay, so let us close this for time being. So now let's add a new tool to our data pre-processing toolkit, which is the taking care of missing data. You had seen, right? You had seen in X, there are some missing data. See, you can see NAN. And also in age, you see one variable, one cell we are having as not a number, right? NAN. These are the missing data in the data set. Now our main job is to fill this missing data. Now we'll see how to fill this missing data. Are we going to delete that instances, or we are going to do some other strategies to fill that missing data? So I recommend not to delete that particular instances. If there is a very few, now as you can see that in the given data set we have only 10 instances. If we keep on deleting all the instances, then we will live with no data to predict our outcome. That's why, so what I'm going to impute this data with some mean value or median value. So let us see how to do that procedure. Okay. Indeed, if we just look at our data set, we see few missing data like salary for specific customer. We now need to fill this value with the average of the salaries. Let us see how to fill this, impute this data with the average of the salary. To do this, we are going to use the libraries, which is the bestest data science library, that is scikit-learn. Okay, in short, we can call it as sklearn. Scikit-learn is an amazing data science library which contains a lot of tools, including the data pre-processing tools. For the first time, I'm going to use this scikit-learn to handle the missing data. And to do this, the class that I'm going to use is called as simple imputer. Simple imputer. So we are actually going to first import the simple imputer class. Then what we are going to do, we will create an instance or an object of this class. So this object will allow us to exactly replace the missing salary by the average of the salary. Right? Later we will update the data set with the modified data. Okay. Now let's begin. Now let's create the scikit-learn as shown. We'll do it using from sklearn, from scikit-learn. Okay. Dot impute from this class. I am going to import a class called as simple imputer. You can see the editor is helping me out. Simple imputer. Yes. Now I need to create a variable and I need to create an instance of this class. So imputer is equal, this is just a variable, guys. So imputer is equal to simple imputer and I created an instance of this class, that is an object. Now we'll see what are the parameters we need to pass. That is the missing values, right? So missing underscore values equal to np dot via numpy np dot nan, not a number. And the strategy what we are using to fill that missing value is the mean value. It is not mandatory that you take only the mean value. You can also take the median value also, depending upon the frequency of the salary which is there in the data set. So for the current time being, I am going to use the mean value. So the strategy what I am going to use is the mean value. Value. That's all, guys. So now we will apply this object on the matrix of feature. Now we just written that what we are going to do. So we told that we are going to apply the mean value, that is a average of the salaries in a missing value. Now we have to fit this particular matrix. So how to fit the matrix? We'll write it like imputer.fit. Okay, so before that we should know that a class will contain an ensemble of instructions, but also some operations and actions which you can apply to other objects or variable, and these are called as methods or functions. And one among this is a fit method. That is what I was talking now, fit method. So the fit method will exactly connect this imputer to the matrix of features. It will look at the missing values in your salary column, and also it will compute the average of the salaries. So, but the thing is, this may not be sufficient enough in replacing the value. We want to do the replacement also, right? So we have to call another method called as transform. So what fit method will do? Fit method will just look at the missing values and it will compute the average of the salary. Now this particular missing data has to be updated with the modified data. For that purpose, we require another method called as transform. So what transform will do, it will replace the missing salaries by the average of the salaries. Right? Let's do this by calling a fit method. First, later on we'll see the transform method. Right? I hope by till here you understood now. Now I'm going to call the imputer dot. This is the variable dot fit method. Fit of what? Where I need to fit this. So in which column? Let us see the in X. So in the X, you can see that I need to consider for where are the missing values? Here in the age and the salary. So as I told that you have to give the indexes value. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. That means I need to concentrate only on the first column and the second column. That first index and the second index. Right? So what I need to do? Fit off in X. I need to concentrate on all the rows, but I need to focus only on the first index and the second. That is 1 colon 3. I need to give 3. Why? Because if I give 2, it will skip the last column. So if I give 3, what will happen? It will skip the third and it will consider the first, that is the first index and the second index. Okay, that means 0, 1 and 2 it will consider. The third one it will ignore. That is why I had given like this. Okay, and later on I need to transform this. So how to transform it? Imputer dot transform method and transform it with the updated value. How do I do that? X of colon comma 1, right? So this will transform and this has to be transformed. What this will do? This will update all the compute all the average of the salaries and it is ready to update to the modified updated data set. So for that we have to create it. What this will actually, the transform method will return, this will return a new updated version of the matrix of feature X, right? With the 2 replacements, the missing salary and the missing age. And therefore, what we want to do is to indeed update our matrix of feature X. And to do this, we should copy down this second and third column of X matrix of feature and change it by what will be returned by this transform function of the imputer object as shown. You can see here now X of all the rows comma 1 is to 3. Now this equals imputer dot transform. So what happened now? Now what you did from the sklearn.impute, you had imported simple imputer. After that you had checked for the missing values, that is nan, and you are going to apply the mean strategy so that it will take the average of the salaries and it is going to fill that value in the missing data. And finally you had done the fit method. This will compute, this will check for the missing data and it will compute the average salary. Transform method will transform the average salaries to that particular column in the data set. Right? Now we are done with the missing data. Now we will execute this. Now let us see whether it has done with the procedure or not. I will execute this. Now let's see whether it has executed or not. I think simple imputer. Okay, yeah, there is a spelling mistake here. Simple imputer, it should be. Yes. Okay, let me execute it again. Yes, executed successful. Now let us see X and Y. Yes, it has done its job. You can see there is an average of the salary which has been imputed in the missing data here. 38.7 for the age and 63,777 rupees for the in terms of salary. Yes, it has done its job successfully. That means the simple imputer has worked. Okay, now let us see how to encode the categorical data. As you can see, there is a two categorical data, right, in the data frame. Which are those? One is the country, another is a purchase. Now we have to encode this categorical data. Now let's see how to do this job. As we can see in the data set, Let me show you the data set again. We have one column with the category that is France, Spain and Germany, and it will be difficult for a machine learning model to compute the correlation between these columns and the outcomes. Correct? So therefore what we do is we have to replace these three categories into numbers. So basic idea will be like to encode the France to 0, Spain to 1 and Germany to 2. However, if you do this, our future machine learning model will definitely understand that because the France is 0, Spain is 1 and Germany is 2, there is a numerical order between these three countries, and mostly it could interpret that this order matters. Whereas of course it's not the case, as there is no relationship order between these three countries. So we want to avoid the model to have such interpretation guys. So therefore we are using a special method called as one hot encoder. Right? So this one hot encoding consists of turning these countries column into three columns. Why three columns? Because since we have three types of categories here, if there are five types of category, it will convert into five columns. Okay. So what it will do means the one hot encoder consists of creating binary vectors for each of these countries. For example, France will have like 100, Spain will have like 001, and Germany will have 010, somewhat like that. So thus we basically replacing the one column into three new columns by encoding method. Also we can notice that the dependent variable also having the categorical value. So but here there are only two values, no and s. Right? We will replace it with the 0 and 1. So let's start by applying one hot encoding to the country column here. To do this, we are going to use two new classes. The first one is a column transformer class, another is a one hot encoder classes. So let's type it. So we require sklearn library from sklearn.compose. From this particular method, we are going to import a class called import column transformer. Column transformer, yes, right? And from sklearn.preprocessing, from preprocessing, we have to import what? One hot encoder. One hot encoder. This particular class. Now what I said, after importing any class, we have to create an instance of that object. Let us do it. So what I'm going to do, we create an variable ct is equal to, okay, column transform. So automatically you can see there are so many arguments are there here. So what are these arguments here? We can see that transformers. This is telling that what are we going to apply any kind of encoding method? Yes. And what type of encoding method we are using? One hot encoder. And for which column we are going to apply it? That is for the first column. Correct, no? The first column. What is the index of the first column? 0. So let us do this. What we do here is transformers, right, equal to, so now within the square bracket I'll open that. I need to use a encoding style, that is encoder. I want to apply the encoder and the type of the encoder. Type of the encoder, let me do this first. Comma, type of the encoder will be one hot encoder. Okay. And for which column we are going to apply? The first column, that is 0. Done. Right? So 0 is done. Now what we have done here, transformers is equal to encoder. The type of encoder is one hot encoder, and to the first column, okay, we'll close it. And one more attribute is remainder. I'll tell you what is this remainder now. Remainder is equal to pass through. pass through. Right? I think we are done with this. Any problem here? Maybe anything brackets are missing. CT is equal to column transformer of transformer, which is equal to the encoder. Yeah, I think this is closed here. Now it's proper. Encoder, one hot encoder, right? Comma 0 closed. Remainder equal pass through. Okay, we'll see later. So you can see that remainder is equal pass through. Why we are using this now? We'll say that we indeed want to keep all the columns that won't be applied with the transformation. Actually, age and salaries are not, we are not going to do any kind of encoding there, but we require that variables, right? So if we don't include this, what will happen? Then we will apply the transformation on X. We'll only keep the first three columns resulting from one hot encoding. Now we have a CT object and of course not connected it to a matrix of feature X. Now we have to transform it. So we'll do it by creating fit transform. We'll do it using fit transform. CT dot fit underscore transform. Of now we are ready, guys. Right? Now what happens here? The fit transform method will actually doesn't return the output as a numpy array. This will not return as a numpy array, and there is absolutely compulsory to have X as a numpy array because this could be expected by the future machine learning model which we gonna build. So in order to train the future machine learning model, we are going to use a train function. We are going to use a train function which is actually called fit, and this train function will expect the matrix of feature X as a numpy array. To do this, we simply need to call X equal to, so what I'll do means np dot array I will put, that's all, np dot array of the entire function, and I'll going to store it in a X. This is what I do using a column transform. Okay, I hope you understand. I had applied on one hot encoder to the first column, and along with that three new columns, I want also the last three columns also, right? So for that purpose we have done this, and I'm going to update it with the old X value. So let us execute this once and we'll see the output. Okay, now we have applied the correctly this transformation to the encoder, one hot encoder column of this matrix of feature X. Let us execute all these lines, 4 lines, and we'll see the output. Okay, let us see X. Yes, you can see the first 3 columns, guys. Actually, how many columns were there? Now how many columns are there? Right, 3 columns were there. Now there are 5 columns, 0 to 4. Right, you can see the France is turned to 100, Spain to 001, and Germany to 010. This is how it has done. So these are called as, this is done by using one hot encoder. We had encoded it, right? So it has done successfully. Now as you see that we no longer have the first country column. It is replaced with the 3 new columns. Now we have successfully replaced the country with the numerical values, and we came to know that how one hot encoder will encode the categorical data. Now we'll see how to encode the one more variable, right? Dependent variable. Dependent variable is also categorized here. So now we have to replace this with 0 and 1 respectively. To do this, we are going to use another class called as label encoder, guys, to encode this no and s2, 0 and 1 respectively. So let's encode the dependent variable as follows. Again, I'm using from sk learn dot preprocessing, right? Import label encoder. Import label encoder. Okay, and I'll have to create an instance of that class LE is equal to label encoder. I need not to pass any arguments for this. I need to just fit transform to the dependent variable y. So I do it using LE dot fit underscore transform. Right? Fit the transform of y. Yes, done. Go on. So this time we need not to have a numpy array because this is the dependent variable vector and doesn't need to be a numpy array. Now let us execute all these 3 lines and we'll see the output in the data frame. So let us see the dependent variable. Sorry. You can see that in the LE that variable has been created, and definitely it has created the last dependent variable into 0 and 1. Okay. Since we are not created in the y, that's why in the y you still see no and yes. We are not updated it to y here. You can see it. Y is not updated with anything. But we have done the procedure of label encoding here. Now you understand to apply the one hot encoder when you have several categories, and also understand to apply the simple label encoding techniques when you have 2 classes. Now let's see how to split the data set into the training set and the test set. Okay, this consists of making 2 separate tests, guys. One training set where we train our machine learning model, and one test set where we evaluate the performance of the model on every new observations, right? So let's do it using some function from sklearn. We are basically going to get 4 sets like xtrain, ytrain, xtest and ytest. Okay, where xtrain is a matrix of feature for training set, xtest which is a matrix of feature for the test set. Similarly, ytrain which is a matrix of a dependent variable of training set, and ytest is the dependent variable of the test set. So let us type it from sklearn dot model underscore selection. Model underscore selection. This is the model we need to select from sklearn, and we have to import train underscore test underscore split. So this is the class we need to import, right? After that we have to create an instance, as we all know. So this will be created for all the variables like xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest. So let's do it. So I'll type xtrain comma x underscore test, okay, comma ytrain comma y underscore test, okay, which is equal to train underscore test underscore split. So the parameters what we are going to pass are x, y, and we'll see what is the splitting ratio we are going to give it for the training and testing. Usually I recommend to give 80% for the training and 20% for the testing. So I give the test size as 20%, it's 0.2, and random state is equal to 1. Random underscore state is equal to 1. Why? Because whenever we are going to split the ratio, it will be randomly selected, and I want, even though if it is randomly selecting the data, the splitting ratio should be common for everything, right? That is why the random state is given to 1. So this will return indeed 4 new sets composed of training sets as xtrain and ytrain, and testing sets with xtest and ytest. Now let us execute these 2 times. Okay, executed this, successfully executed, and you can see in the variable explorer xtest has been created, right? We'll see all the things all together. Xtrain is there here, we have xtest is there. Now you can see out of 10, 80%, you can see 0 to 7 has been there in the xtrain, and 20% is there in the xtest, correct? So these are the 3 new columns which were created using one hot encoder. This is age and salary. We had imputed all the values. Yes, now we are almost ready, right, with the pre-processing. We have left out with the way only one step, that is feature scaling. Let's do that now. I hope you understand now. So xtest, xtrain, similarly we have ytrain as well as ytest. Yes, these are also 80 and 20% been split. Okay, then now let's move into the feature scaling. I'll see the method of feature scaling. This will allow to put all our features on the same scale. So you can see in the data set, that the age and salary, even though it is continuous, you can see some age are very less, 27, some age are very high, you can see the 50, and also in the salary, you can see 72,000, 48,000, 54,000. There are a lot of variations in the salaries here, as well as age. So these two attributes has to be done with the feature scaling. But I'll tell you, feature scaling is not mandatory to do in all data pre-processing steps. Only if it is required, you can do it. Okay. Now, we need this method because actually some of the machine learning models will not consider the values which are dominated by other values, right? Which are dominated by other values. You can see the 79,000 is dominating another the less value, maybe 54,000 or 48,000. Some values are get dominated, and machine learning models will not consider those values, right? So you may get a wrong predictions in later stage. So these are actually two feature scaling. There are actually two feature scaling techniques, namely standardization and normalization in feature scaling. So let me explain you what is standardization here. Standardization technique consists of subtracting the each value or a feature by the mean of all the values of the features, and then dividing by the standard deviation, that is square root of these values, right? And this will put the values of the feature between -3 to +3. That's the range of values it is going to put. Okay. Similarly, our normalization consists of subtracting each value of a feature by the minimum value of the feature and then dividing by the difference between the maximum value of the feature and the minimum value of a feature. And all the values after normalization will become between 0 and 1. It will be in the range of 0 to 1. So I recommend normalization when you have a normal distribution in most of the features, but most of the cases we will apply standardization only because standardization works well with all the times. Now in this particular case study we will apply standardization technique for feature scaling, and let's see how to apply this standardization techniques in a matrix of features. So let's proceed to the implementation of the feature scaling. We are going to implement this with the scikit-learn, right? There is a library called scikit-learn which has all the tools, and the tools that we are going to use is a class called a standard scaler, guys, in the scikit-learn. Standard scaler, which will exactly perform standardization on the matrix of features on training set and the testing set. So let's start by importing the class from sklearn dot preprocessing, right? Dot preprocessing, import the standard scaler. Now import standard scaler. Okay, once I imported, as I already told you, we have to create an instance of that. Create a variable sc standard scaler is equal to standard. There is no argument to be passed in this particular class. Okay, now what I do means I create a training and testing set. Okay, now we'll see for which particular attributes we require to for feature scaling. In the xtrain and xtest we'll see. Xtrain. In the xtrain, for which one we require to feature scale? For third index and for the fourth index. Right? Third index and the fourth index. Similarly for the test, for the ext test also we require to apply it for the third index and the fourth index. Let's do it. We create a variable x underscore train. In the x underscore train we are going to select all the rows colon comma the third index onwards. How many are there? Third and fourth. So we can leave it as third column, 3 column. That's enough, guys. That's enough. Okay. So we need to update it to these columns via sc dot fit transform, fit underscore fit transform. In the fit transform also we are going to pass the same columns. This is the same column I'm going to pass it. Right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fit the transformation for the the third index and the fourth index, I'm going to update it with the same column in the data set. Right? Have you understood this? For the training, we have to use it fit underscore transfer, but for the testing, we have to use only transfer method. I'll tell you why. So copy and paste and just change this to test. All are same, but here it is only transform, not fit underscore transform. Rest all are same. Got it? So since the XTest data is new data, we will only apply transform method, because indeed the features of the test set need to be scaled by the same scalar that was used on the training set. If you apply again the fit transform method here, right, if you apply it here, what will happen on the XTest? We will get a new scalar, and that would absolutely not make any sense, because XTest will actually be the input of the predict function that will be used for prediction to the machine learning model. That is why we are not using fit underscore transform for the XTest, but we are using fit underscore transform for the training set. Now let's execute this 4 lines. Okay. Small error here. In line 39, okay, X test. Okay, what's the problem here? X underscore test colon comma 3 colon, which is equal to sc dot transform of X test. Okay, that's the problem here. This is the problem what happens when we copy paste. Okay. Yes, successfully updated, guys. So now let's see the output. So for the XTrain and the XTest, we're able to apply the standard scalar method. Feature scalar has been done. XTrain and XTest. We'll see the output here in the XTrain. Yes, guys, it has been successfully updated. We are able to get the range between -3 to +3, right, for the training set. So you can see the values are between that -1, 1, right? All are within the range. So this will help definitely for a machine learning model to predict the future, right? And similarly for the testing also, we'll just verify. For the testing also, it has been worked successfully. You can see it here, right? So I think I covered all the pre-processing methods here. Now we have done with this data pre-processing toolkit. And we are now ready, guys, to build a machine learning model to perform a great predictions, guys. So let me conclude this session. So in the data pre-processing, we had seen several techniques and aspects, like how to import the libraries, 3 libraries, NumPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas. We had seen how to import the data set, the CSV file from the working directory. We had seen how to take care of the missing data. And the best part we had seen is how to encode the categorical data using one hot encoder and a label encoder. Just when you have more than 2 categories, you see we are using one hot encoder, and when there are only 2 values, we are using label encoder. Also, we had seen how to split the data set into training set and testing set. And finally, we are applied the feature scaling method in the data pre-processing, guys. So thanks for watching, and enjoy machine learning. Thank you.